Remember when Saturday mornings meant Ultraman trading punches with city-smashing kaiju? The silver giant hit American TV in the late 60s, vanished quickly, and lived on in memory. Today we're counting down 10 shocking truths about its strangest monsters and moments.
For who knows what mysterious danger may suddenly strike.
Number 10. Red King, the corncob bully. Remember the brute who just smashed everything in sight with zero finesse whatsoever? Red King was Ultraman's answer to the schoolyard bully, a skull-crushing powerhouse who didn't need laser beams or energy shields to dominate. He just pummeled opponents into submission with raw muscle and rage. Here's the kicker. Despite his name, Red King wasn't actually red at all. He was mostly yellow and blue with bumpy, tiered skin that designer told Narita reportedly modeled after an ascending staircase. Fans have compared his textured hide to corn on the cob, which somehow makes perfect sense for a monster whose entire strategy was hit things harder and harder. No fancy powers, no complex backstory, just pure brutish violence wrapped in a rubber suit. Think of him as the kaiju equivalent of a freight train with anger management issues and absolutely no interest in therapy.
Hayata, come in. You found that something's wrong. What is it?
I've spotted an unidentified flying object heading east over the Kamori Forest.
Number 9. Pigmon, the friendly martyr. In a genre built entirely on destruction and mayhem, one tiny monster broke the mold by being genuinely heroic and kind. Pigmon was child-sized, vaguely dinosaur-shaped, and completely friendly to humans despite looking like something that crawled out of a fever dream. When the Science Patrol landed on a monster-infested island crawling with dangers, this little guy became their unlikely guide, warning them of threats and pointing out safe paths through the chaos. His reward for helping the humans who'd always fought his kind. He got squished by Red King while trying to create a distraction so the team could escape to safety. Kids across Japan watched this friendly creature sacrifice himself without hesitation, and suddenly, Saturday morning kaiju battles hit a lot differently than before. Pigmon became the franchise's brave little mascot, proving that even in a world of city-stomping giants, size doesn't determine courage or heart.
Stay on it. Don't lose sight of it. Report as soon as you can identify it, and let us know if it changes direction.
Number 8. The Godzilla cameo you missed. If the monster gyras in episode 10 looked suspiciously familiar to your monster-trained eye, trust your instincts. You were watching the actual Godzilla suit, borrowed straight from Toho's movies. The production team took the costume from Mothra vs. Godzilla and Ebirah, Horror of the Deep, spray-painted the dorsal fins bright yellow, and slapped a large neck frill on it to hide the obvious connection. The suit actor inside? Haruo Nakajima, the original Godzilla performer himself, bringing his signature moves to yet another role. It was the ultimate recycling job, like putting a fake mustache on a celebrity and hoping no one in the audience notices or cares. Budget constraints made Strange Bedfellows in 1966 tokusatsu production, and apparently Lizard with a rough collar was close enough to brand new kaiju for broadcast standards and network executives. This wasn't homage, it was straight-up costume department thrift shopping at its finest.
Both objects have now disappeared from sight.
They're gone?
Not exactly. One of them landed in the lake and then disappeared below the...
Number 7. Guesra, the chocolate monster. Most kaiju fed on nuclear energy, petroleum, or generic radiation that conveniently powered their rampage. Guesra had more refined and oddly specific tastes. Cacao beans, the raw ingredient of chocolate. This South American lizard beast mutated after falling into polluted waters near a coastal industrial zone, but his primary motivation was essentially a massive chocolate craving that drove him to attack shipping routes. Imagine a building-sized sea monster terrorizing coastal cities and disrupting international trade because he really needed his fix of cocoa products. The Science Patrol had to strategize around dealing with a creature whose weakness was basically cut off his supply of brownie ingredients and wait him out. It's the kind of wacky, semi-convoluted origin story that could only come from 1960s tokusatsu, where writers apparently spun a wheel of random foods and pollution sources, then combined whatever landed. Guesra proves that even monsters have comfort foods. His just happened to require international shipping routes and agricultural coordination to satisfy. Number 6. Alien Baltan's borrowed laugh. Alien Baltan remains Ultraman's most persistent and terrifying rival, a space ninja with a cicada-like face, massive lobster claws, and an eerie, haunting laugh that probably haunted your childhood nightmares for years. That iconic cackle that made your skin crawl wasn't original. Sound designers lifted it directly from Toho's horror film Matango, known in the US as Attack of the Mushroom People, which is its own kind of nightmare fuel. The effect made Baltan seem genuinely unsettling and otherworldly in a way pure visual effects couldn't achieve, which was exactly the point. Combined with his ability to clone himself into an entire army and his stubborn refusal to stay dead across multiple episodes throughout the series, that borrowed laugh transformed him into kaiju royalty and franchise legend. It's like they grabbed the audio equivalent of a jump scare from a completely different movie and said, "This'll work perfectly for our alien lobster ninja from space." And somehow, against all logic, it absolutely did, creating one of tokusatsu's most memorable villains.
I couldn't make that out. I couldn't hear you. Did you say they crashed?
Yes, the mysterious object and chip.
Number 5. The Beta Capsule was almost a pen. Shin Hayata's transformation into Ultraman required one iconic prop that became instantly recognizable: the Beta Capsule. That simple, flashlight-like device he'd raised dramatically to the sky before the magic happened and the giant appeared. In early production drafts, though, the device had a much less dramatic and decidedly more mundane design. Originally called the Flash Beam, it was designed to look like a futuristic fountain pen, complete with a clip and writing implement aesthetic. Picture this scene: monster attacks, city in chaos, buildings crumbling, citizens fleeing in terror, and Hayata dramatically pulls out what looks like office supplies from his jacket pocket. "Hold on, everyone. Let me just sign this transformation waiver and fill out the paperwork." The final flashlight design was sleeker, more heroic, and crucially, didn't make the show's pivotal moment look like bureaucratic documentation. Sometimes the best creative decisions in television history are the ones that prevent unintentional comedy from derailing your dramatic moments.
It doesn't matter where I am now. The important thing is I need the S-16 in the middle of Lake Gamorre as soon as you can get it there.
Number 4. Ultraman was almost a monster named Bemular. Before the Silver Giant existed in any recognizable form, the show had a completely different concept titled Bemular. The hero was a bird-like Tengu monster who would fight other monsters in straight kaiju versus kaiju battles, creating a monster-on-monster format from the very start of production. Network executives hit the brakes hard, worried that audiences wouldn't be able to distinguish the good monster from the bad ones in the heat of miniature city destruction. The solution they came up with? Redesign the hero as a humanoid silver giant who clearly stood apart from his monstrous opponents, both visually and conceptually. The name Bemular got recycled as the villain in Episode 1, the fireball-spitting sphere that gave Ultraman his debut fight and first victory. It's the ultimate consolation prize in character development. You don't get to be the hero and star of the show, but you do get to be the opening boss fight that establishes how powerful the new protagonist is.
Muratu Hayata! Muratu Hayata! Where were you all during the night?
Number 3. The color timer was a panic button. That flashing chest light, the color timer that gave Ultraman his famous 3-minute time limit, wasn't part of the original character design at all. Filmmakers added it at the last minute during production because they realized their hero was basically unbeatable in every scenario, which killed all dramatic tension and viewer suspense. The color timer created instant visual suspense. When it started beeping faster and flashing red, you knew time was running out fast, and Ultraman had to finish the fight now or face defeat. It turned every single battle into a ticking clock scenario, forcing the giant to work faster, strategize better, and hit harder as the countdown approached 0 and his energy reserves depleted. Without that light, Ultraman was just an invincible alien who could fight forever without consequences or stakes. With it, every episode became a race against exhaustion and biology, or whatever passes for biology in a being made of pure light from Nebula M78 who happened to crash land on Earth. That simple addition transformed the show from watch an unstoppable hero win to will he make it in time?
Give it to him! Come on!
Number 2. Akiko Fuji, the First Lady of Kaiju. The Science Patrol's communications officer, Akiko Fuji, played with grace by Hiroko Sakurai, was added late in production as the team's only female member. In her striking orange uniform that made her stand out from the rest of the team, she coordinated attacks, relayed critical intelligence, and kept her composure under pressure when monsters were literally tearing through downtown Tokyo like construction paper. While the show occasionally put her in peril, because 1960s television had very specific ideas about women's roles, her role was absolutely pivotal to every mission's success and the team's survival. She was one of tokusatsu's first heroines in command, a professional operator in a genre that usually sidelined women entirely or reduced them to screaming background characters. For young viewers watching from their living rooms, she proved that fighting giant monsters wasn't just about punching them in the face with your fists. Someone had to manage communications, relay coordinates accurately, and make sure everyone knew where the kaiju was headed next so civilians could evacuate. That someone wore orange and made it look effortless, even when the world was literally ending around her. Number 1. The hero doesn't win. Here's the fact that absolutely stunned children across Japan and left them staring at their screens. In the series finale, Farewell, Ultraman, the hero loses decisively. The space dinosaur Zeton, a beetle-faced powerhouse with teleportation abilities and energy absorption that made him nearly unstoppable, easily defeated Ultraman in direct combat and shattered his color timer completely. For the first time in the entire series, the giant who'd saved Earth dozens of times from countless threats was lying motionless on the ground, defeated and dying. Only the dramatic arrival of Zophi, Ultraman's superior from the Land of Light, and a more powerful warrior, saved the day by separating Hayata from the dying Ultraman and carrying him back to the stars for healing and recovery. Kids expecting the usual triumphant finale where good conquers evil instead got a bittersweet goodbye where the hero limped away broken and beaten. It was a genuine gut-punch ending that taught an entire generation of viewers that even heroes have limits and vulnerabilities. And sometimes, saving the world means knowing when to go home and let someone else take over the fight.
Then report in just as soon as you're able.
Bonus fact: the Lost premiere, due to censorship. Ultraman actually premiered a week earlier than planned because of controversy and confusion over its predecessor show. The finale of Ultra Q, the monster mystery show that preceded Ultraman in the broadcast schedule, was pulled from broadcast at the last minute. Network executives deemed the episode too unconventional for their audience. It featured no monsters or action sequences, just psychological themes and human drama, which apparently violated some unspoken kaiju contract with viewers. To fill the sudden gap in their programming schedule, the network hastily aired The Birth of Ultraman, a live stage show special featuring costumed performers, then jumped straight into the new series ahead of schedule. So if you remember Ultraman appearing seemingly out of nowhere on your TV schedule without much warning or promotion, you weren't imagining it or misremembering. The show crash-landed into American living rooms because somebody in Tokyo decided mind games and psychological drama weren't Saturday morning appropriate for kids expecting monster battles. From Godzilla suits in disguise to chocolate-addicted sea monsters that disrupted shipping lanes, Ultraman delivered the kind of gloriously weird storytelling that defined an era of television. These weren't just rubber suits and miniature cities getting smashed to pieces. They were the battles that taught us about sacrifice, creativity on a shoestring budget, and the pure thrill of watching a silver giant throw a suplex on a space lobster with cicada features. The show proved that you didn't need Hollywood money to create magic. You just needed imagination, dedication, and the willingness to spray paint Godzilla's fins yellow when the budget ran short. Which fact surprised you most from this countdown? Did you catch the Godzilla cameo back in the day? Or were you devastated when Pigmon got squished trying to save the team? Maybe you're still processing that finale where Ultraman actually lost the fight. However it stuck with you, shock, nostalgia, or that quiet sting of a lost battle. Those moments are what keep Ultraman alive long after the timer runs out. Until next time, remember, you've got 3 minutes to save the world and beat the monster. Make them count, because that color timer waits for no one. Shoe Watch.